Wait, what are we doing? What's
I said
happening?
as soon as he gets back, hit record. So we're started. It's chill, man. We're all right. It's not Joe Rogan here. We're just having a good time.
Hey, whatever.
All right. So okay,
Help!
Hell.
Trump, do you know what was the temperature today in Eloy?
Oh, I have no idea. It's beautiful right now, though.
Yeah, right now. But it was warm today, right? Like upper 80s.
Yeah, it's gotta be in the 80s right now. So
And I mean, it's time, right? It's the end of February, so it's got to start getting cold or
That's
warm.
right.
Sorry. And Chris, what did you say?
The forecast today here in San Antonio was 91. I think it got up to like 89.
here, I'm gonna put earphones on.
Okay.
All right, check. Cool.
There we
Okay, so
go.
on the heels of this discussion, Trunk, how long you been in Eloy?
I've been in Arizona for 23 years.
Okay, so that's almost as long as I've been skydiving total. Uh, what do you has there is there a noticeable trend in your mind as far as the temperature?
Generally January is cold as heck, especially during the Christmas boogie, and then it gets warm. I feel like this is a little bit warmer than normal, but then like it's just uphill from here, you know. So
But I mean, 23 years ago, was it the same highs at the same time of year, or has it gradually gotten warmer or gradually gotten colder?
dude, I don't know what I did last week. I guess
He's like, quit asking me, man. What do you think? What are you talking about?
I really, um, I do feel. I mean, last summer was not bad at all.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't tell you as far as because I travel around a lot, so like a lot of summers I'm not around here too. So you know, it sucks when you're there, but like it also I went to school in upstate New York, so it really sucked when you were up there in the winter forever too. So
All right, you guys, you know where I'm going with this. Is the planet getting warmer or not?
No.
I
No?
think it is. I think
Okay,
it is. I think
perfect.
the
That's
Well,
perfect.
okay. Here's the question: warmer than when? That's what you have to ask. Warmer. You're comparing it to something. Warmer than when?
Sure. Okay, so I believe if we asked, say, you pick an AI, and we'll ask what are the 10 hottest years in recorded history, and they're the last 10 years.
oh, I'm
I
sure.
mean, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I was watching a guy a couple of months ago, and he was talking about this, and he said, yeah, it matters what you're comparing to, and so he went back to all this data, like he pulled up a bunch of stuff, and he's like, it's not getting. I mean, there are cycles. Yes, there are cycles, and we might be in a piece of the cycle where it's warming, but we're not warmer than we've ever like. All the geologic records, anything that we can look at, any information that we can try to look at, there's no reason to think that it's getting any warmer than it has any other time in any other cycle. That's what he
It's
said.
pretty, it's pretty easy to check that. I mean, so
I,
so
and I
engineer and me is
believe,
like, we could look this up right now versus like
Yeah, no, I mean
guessing.
I mean, I don't know where he got his information. I'm not saying he was
Yeah,
right or wrong. I'm just what he was saying. He was pulling up a bunch of information. His point was like, yeah, people say it's getting warmer, but warmer than when? You have to talk about what you're comparing to. And if you look at the geologic trend, like over thousands and thousands, like hundreds of thousands of years, is what he was saying, that there's no increase.
I mean, if you go in there, humans have definitely made a change in our environment, and that's pretty much where we're going at. Is like you look at from space and how much change we have made. We have definitely altered the ecosystem of this planet, and therefore have probably changed the weather and the aspects of it. But
love it, love it. I believe if I'm not wrong, that we are actually in a cooling cycle for the Earth, even as temperatures rise. And so, what should be a cooling period, I believe, is not a cooling period, according to the what you're talking about, Chris, geological data. All right, we had to press record for that. We had to, and then okay, so Trunk, Who are you, buddy? Give your introduction.
Oh
what's your
man, I didn't
brief
even
synopsis?
I didn't even prepare for this.
Well,
Let's see.
first tell us how you got the name Trunk. Why is your name Trunk?
Oh man, that was I actually for years I never told it. Like it was more of a mystery. It was better that way that people didn't know. It was really fun. Just kind of come up with the ideas. But lately I've been telling it, and so basically I had about 50 jumps. Didn't really know anybody. I started in skydiving in Coolidge, and they had a Rocky Point boogie. So I went down to Rocky Point. They're like, "Hey, you could land. Okay, you can land on the beach. With 50 jumps. God forbid." I went down there and went to my first boogie, and of course I'm going crazy. I was drinking like heavily and stuff like that. And we all go to dinner. So we go up. Everybody's at this restaurant. We all go up to the top floor and have dinner, and then I go pee, and they're all going to this other bar. And I come out of the bathroom, and I'm like, "Where the fuck did everybody go?" Everybody left. And like this one car zooms away, this other car is about to move away. So I go and I pop their trunk and I jump in it. And we're in Mexico, mind you. I'm like, I just need a ride to this bar. So I hop in the trunk and I start giggling. And I'm like, okay, I didn't really think this went through. So, anyways, they're like, is there somebody in the trunk of our car? They pull up to the bar, open the trunk. And I'm like, hey, thanks for the ride. I'm a 21-year-old kid at that point, like just recently started skydiving. They're 22-year-old kid. And and so they're stuck. I'm like, man, this is a horrible nickname. They're like, we're gonna call you Trunk. I'm like, that's fucking awful. But it's stuck, and I'm like, okay, I guess I just have to go with it then. So there I am, 20-something years later.
That's That's a good story. So it was people that you knew, kind of.
No, not really.
No.
I mean, they were skydivers, but I mean, did I know them? Like,
That is, I thought you were going to say you ended up in the trunk of some random people's car.
I mean, there's been times. I did that on a taxi many years later at Rocky Point, and like there are holes in there, and like totally got carbon monoxide poisoning, but that's a different story. So, anyways.
Oh man, that's funny.
Okay.
Trunk. That's a good. I like that nickname. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Trunk. It's a cool name.
Okay, now the bio. Who are you?
I don't know, man. I went to school for engineering. I basically started making electronics for skydiving, especially for videography, and basically just started making more money doing that than my corporate America job. Quit my corporate America job and made products for skydiving full time, and wanted to do the boogie tour and traveled around the country for a couple years in the boogie tour, and kept on jumping and kept on creating new products for videographers, and just having a great time doing it now. Filming
cool.
a lot of big wave stuff now, basically on the belly stuff, the RW stuff. Have an 8-way team and some other stuff, but really enjoying where I'm at. So.
Tell us some of the things that you've invented or designed or created or whatever.
Oh man, so I started out creating the Hi-Pi was my big product, which was the indicator light for the Sony cameras. So everybody used to have the cameras on the side or on the top, and you had to have a basic controller system to control them. And when Sony moved to a different like port, I was the one that created that, and I sold like a lot of them because everybody who wanted cameras needed to have that thing. And then basically, I work out of my house, and that afforded me to quit my job and do the boogie tour type of thing. From there,
and so wait, what was that first thing for the Sony camera? What was it?
It's called the Hi-Pi D Pro. So it was just this little button that everybody had on the helmet that you press to like start recording or stop recording. Because when we had the viewfinders, you would have to open the viewfinder up, hit the record button, and everybody had a box and stuff like that. So I made the controller and the dummy lights for it. So the lights that showed you that the camera's recording. And all. So and then when GoPros came out, I was really proponent of them because I liked how tiny and light they were. But of course, it kind of killed my business. But I've been doing a bunch of like other contracting and doing a bunch of other products for the skydiving market since then. So,
are there some other things that you've developed or created?
Shoot, I don't even have
or things that you're working on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Bluetooth Pro, which is the indicator light for all the GoPro cameras now. So it works off Bluetooth, shows you that the camera's recording. So for instance, when we're doing the world record stuff, it just makes sure that you're recording, and you're not on like the mode like a photo mode or any other mode that's like, oh yeah, you're recording, but you come down and you have 100 images, not the world record. I make a bunch of the bite switches, the blow switches, tongue switches, all the ring sights that you see people use. Well, most of them. I make the concentric ring sights for Brent Finley. I think I have something about like 80 SKUs, so like 80 different products that we make, basically all for camera flyers and stuff like that. So
That's awesome. So you make bite and blow switches?
yep.
That's cool.
So,
Are those difficult to make?
they're a pain in the ass.
Are
It
they?
takes me longer to. I mean, because when I'm making electronics or something like that, like I'll build like a whole circuit board of like these are the Bluetooth Pros that I designed and like manufacture myself. But then like the bite switches and the tongue switches, it's physical labor that I actually have to go out and like code it and dip them, and I don't have those manufactured like I have some other products.
Mm.
I am actually outside building them right now, so it's
Wow.
empty. So
And do you use a bite switch or a blow switch?
I use a tongue switch.
A tongue switch. Okay. Why do
Yeah,
you prefer that?
basically people with the um, with the bite switch, people tend to like if they have a hard opening, they'll clench their teeth and they'll break
Mm-hmm.
through them. And I've done it too before.
Okay.
So in the tongue switch is just like your tongue against the switch, and it's
Mm-hmm.
really hard to break them. That's why I use them. The blow switch, every once in a while, like you'll breathe heavily, and I'm not one, especially with oxygen and O2 and all that kind of stuff like that. I'm
Yeah.
not one to like have to breathe out and push out like while I'm using it. So I find that the tongue switch works the best for me.
Yeah.
The way I skydive. So
Did it take you any length of time to kind of like get in the habit of using your tongue to take pictures? Is there a training time? No?
Ask my wife.
Wait, what? How am I supposed to interpret that? I like this guy. This guy's good. I like Trump.
No, I know how to use my tongue. It's okay.
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's funny.
Trump, do you have any patents?
I don't. And the funny thing about it is, patents are for big corporations. I found so like for electronics and stuff like that, the stuff I create, it only has a life expectancy of about like 5 years or so. So by the time I had the patent, spend all the money for it, the technology is old, and then I don't have the money to protect it. So if somebody was going to go against my patent, I don't have the $100,000 to protect it to try to sue them. And if I sue them, am I going to get that money back? So I found it's easier for me and the size I am to just freaking go fast and make a lot of products and
just let it go.
Yeah,
that's good. That's cool.
So
less stress too, probably, huh?
Yeah, you're not focusing on what makes you money. You're focusing on protecting, like, if you had some mechanical system or something like that, maybe. But just in this industry, it's so easy to circumvent patents. So I don't even try.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
Okay. How'd you get started skydiving?
I had a bad. Oh, let's see. I did it once in college in like 1998 or something like that in Brockport, New York. And of course, like at that time, I couldn't afford to like do it some more, but I really liked it. And then I had I came out here in Arizona, and I had a kind of a bad day at work, and I always wanted to do it. So I called up a bunch of places, and I called up Skydive Coolidge back in the day and talked to a lady there, and she walked me through everything. I'm like, cool, let's do it. So then I basically still didn't have the money, but got in a lot of debt and started skydiving and threw cameras on my head way too early and sucked at skydiving forever, but I had a camera on my head, and then spent many years, a couple of decades, trying to unlearn bad habits I learned by throwing a camera on my head way too early. And so I try to teach people not to do what I did. So,
and what kind of jumping do you like? What do you like to do now?
Man, right now I love to flock. I'm also doing a lot, like, I think flocking is really cool. That's kind of like what I like to do as for my fun time, free time. But the records are enjoyable. Just basically, and then all the stunt work I've been doing with like Joe and like Constantine and stuff like that. That's been rad. Like it's just so much fun. So,
what was there probably wasn't any USPA guidelines for wearing a camera when you put a camera on for the first time. What was too early?
Basically like throwing a camera on before I knew how to fly, and that's what I did. Like I barely knew how to fly on my belly and flying with wings, with tandems, and looking back, I'm like, how the fuck did I even do that? And then like flying a camera helmet trying to get free flyers before I even had the correct position. It was pretty much before tunnels too. So I learned like the bad habits. I wasn't touching people. So like, everything I learned was the wrong way, and so like wrong way and like pretty much dangerous. So I'm lucky that I didn't screw up as more than I did type of thing. So um,
So what would you? Because I can imagine some people listening might be like, "Oh, too early, camera, too early." Yeah, right, whatever. Like not understanding. What are your reasons? Like why? What makes it dangerous? What makes it not a good idea? Like why do you? Why?
man,
How do you convince me that I shouldn't do that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's so many things. Like there's everybody likes to add so much on top of something that they don't really know how to do properly. Like so, for cameras, it's just another straw. Be it you're worried about pressing record before you exit and
mm,
not worried about getting your gear set up properly. And you see all the time people are like, "Am I recording?" I'm freaking out like right before exit. Or they turn their camera on like way too early, showing us that they don't have like the proper mindset to even handle the cameras. Um, because at that point they're focused more on the camera than their gear. That they rig up everything properly. And then in free fall, focusing on getting the shot when they don't even know how to stop. So they'll like do like the bullseye, like, oh, I'm going to get this person, but then they ram right through them and have a collision because they don't know how to stop.
mm,
Uh, there's people like, even altitude awareness where two people are just geeking each other and they don't have ditters and they, have cypress fires if that happens. Uh, Pretty much everything that I say is probably stuff that I've done before. And so I know that I, I know the issues with it because I've been that idiot, and I'm trying to kind of get people to realize that it is a distraction, and it is like I'm more worried about the distractions of cameras than I am like the entanglement issues
yeah,
of them. Although to be said, like there is like a lot of people freaking being idiots with like freaking like unicorn mounted on top of their head, but and they don't even know that why it's dangerous because and they're always worried about the. Sorry, I'm going to go on a tirade here.
go
But
for it, man.
they're worried about like the deployment issues. Like, oh, like I'm going to get my parachute lines entangled with this, this death bar. But it's like the issue really is like at the last 300 feet when you're coming in and land. If you're like doing a turn and grabbing your brake line or like your front riser turn and you're in a dive, that's what I'm really worried about with the unicorn mounts. Of course, there is that entanglement hazard, but it's more like towards the ground, I think, and people don't consider that.
Mm,
That almost happened to Constantine, like where he had a unicorn mount, very, very good guy, like doing a hook turn and like looks over or you see something, and all of a sudden you got your dive loop or your toggle, and you're slamming the ground. There's just so many issues with cameras that because they're so persistent or like all over, like everybody has them, they don't really think about so
yeah. Yeah, no, that's good, and I'm glad that you. I mean, because some all those things that you said, not the entanglement stuff and landing, that's good. I'm glad that you shared that. But the other things, it's kind of what I expected you to say. It's the same things that people bring up all the time about cameras, and I'm glad that you said those things. And I think what
mhm.
happens is people hear the same things over and over, and because you hear those same warnings over and over, they
Mhm.
start to sound like unimportant. They start to sound cliche
Okay.
because they've been repeated so much. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but that's actually what makes them so believable and important and serious is that they're being repeated over and over and over. That means they really are a big deal. Like everybody who's saying them has either seen it firsthand or knows firsthand that it really is a big deal. So I think that's good for us to repeat and share with everybody, whether you're a, you got 10,000 skydives or 200, like those things matter for all of us. Any of us can get distracted by a camera, and
Yeah.
you hear those warnings repeated because they actually are good warnings. So
It's
I think it's worth saying.
I want to say is like you don't know what you don't know, and that's the
Mm,
biggest thing I see with cameras. Is like I focus a lot on the safety of it, and so I watch a lot of like reserve deployments and like where your reserve goes and how it flows, especially skyhooks or any type of MARD, which pretty much a lot a big proportion of our community is wearing nowadays, and they don't take that in consideration when they're mounting a camera or anything on their helmet, is how that reserve extracts out of your body, especially in spinning functions. And a lot of times, like, if you're spinning, right, and you're on your back and you get ejected out. And now that reserve is coming right over your
Mm,
cameras or right by your cameras, especially if you're dumb enough to look up at your reserve deploying. And now you're putting all those cameras in that field. And that's how, like, people are having all these entanglements right now, or they don't even know they have entanglement. They'll post it on people, and you'll watch it and you'll see, like, man, you didn't even know you had an entanglement, but your bridle was basically around your camera.
mm,
And it's nasty stuff. And it's, I love these Mards, and I think they're great. But people have to take consideration when they're mounting their cameras on there, to that A, they need to tuck the chin to get their cameras away from it, and B, like, no, like, don't mount a huge camera, especially don't mount a huge camera back.
mm.
So, anyways.
So is that something that you've kind of come up with on your own from watching those videos, or have you heard other people say that too, as far as tucking your chin? I've never considered that or even thought about it. That's really interesting.
It's something I've been pushing to people to know. But yeah, I did a whole presentation at PIA on it this year
Yeah.
about the entanglements, and like, I could send you some crazy videos of these type of entanglements that are happening because people don't even consider their Mard extractions.
Yeah. Send them to
So,
me. I would like to see them.
yeah.
And so that's kind of, maybe that's going to become kind of something that's taught, is to tuck the chin.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because you want to arch and go back in free fall, but by the time if you have a Mard or something like that, but you're going to be extracted already before you like have any ability to kind of go back into belly to earth position. But especially when you're flying a camera, I think it's important to like tuck your chin.
Hmm.
Uh, especially for if you have anything on there.
Hmm. Interesting.
Um,
Okay.
so.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good.
So it's one of those things that when I show you some videos of people that's happened to, you're gonna be like, wow. So, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trunk, how'd you find your way to Eloy?
Um, so I started in Coolidge. Coolidge, the owner of Coolidge, Mark Hogue, sold it to CPS TTF. So then he had another drop zone. He went over to uh, where did he go? Hill Bend. But then I basically from there I was like, I still want to skydive, so I went to Eloy from there, and then I've been there since. So um, basically, then I think I filmed tandems there. I used to film tandems with Hogue back in the day. I filmed tandems to Eloy, and then basically did the boogie tour and started just traveling around a lot, and then started doing big waves and stuff like that from there. So that's. Yeah.
What were you doing camera work? Sorry, the air conditioner's on. But were you doing camera work before you started skydiving? Like, what prompted you to get into it so quickly?
I was doing a little bit of camera work. I was always interested in cameras. Like my degree is electrical engineering, but I also went to like the school for Kodak school, RIT up in Rochester, New York. It's like the school of Kodak, what it used to be called. But so like I was surrounded by photography when I went to college, um, but then really got into it more of just some skydiving and the tech aspect of it. I think I felt like a little bit like the guy in Goonies, like having all like the cool electronics and things wizardry on them. And
Data.
yeah, dude, I was like this is cool, like so just like the geeky part of it. I guess if wingsuiting was really around when I was started, or maybe I would have be more of a geeker skydiver like that. But I chose free flying and camera flying. So
That's cool.
I'm just talking about the data aspect of wingsuiting, where it seems like all of the data people that are like really into it go into that realm.
Yeah.
So
Is that something that you've messed with at all? Do you any kind of stuff like
I,
that?
I have 3 wingsuit jumps.
Oh,
So
okay.
and my last one was over the Florida Keys, so if that says anything about it. So um, yeah, and not
And
really. I mean, my wings I wear for 8-way in competition are basically wingsuit wings, but I don't have a. It's not really a desire. So
Yeah.
did you? I mean, okay, so you're into cameras. Did you see any camera work from anybody else that's like inspirational, Joe or Norm or
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, like obviously we all grew up. You probably did the same with good stuff with Joe,
yeah, yeah.
and I was like, wow, this is amazing, and I've been fortunate enough to work with him quite a bit now. Between his Space Cowboy movie, a couple of the car scenes, the NVIDIA shot, and then of course with Constantine with the Guardian of the Drop, which you hopefully have seen some of the videos of, which is so awesome. With a lot of the one that just got released with the Guardian of the Couch, like a lot of that couch footage was my own. So I was basically holding on to the couch right when we were exiting, and just got these awesome shots. But yeah, back to your question, like Joe has been kind of an inspiration. I've learned a lot from all those guys, Norman and everybody else, and Willie, like on some of the big ways, Willie Boykins. Of course, Mike McGowan helps me out a bunch because he's a local here in Eloy. And of course, I work with Elliot Bird, quite a bit here on the big way stuff. So I'm sure I'm forgetting names, but there's been a lot. Everybody that's crossed paths with me has been an inspiration. So.
I got on a kick of camera flyers because we had David. Well, we had Leah, and then we had David, and then I was like, man, there's so many good camera flyers that I know, and I contacted you, and I contacted Joe, and I contacted Norm, and I just wrote down Mike McGowan and Elliot Bird because those are both great people as well.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go
Well,
on a tear.
I feel I was realizing the other day, like we're always watching, and I feel like that's why I tend to, I don't want to be pompous about it, but I tend to see a lot of the safety aspects of the things that are wrong with gearing or what's going on, because I'm spending hours and hours editing photos and fine tuning things, and I could see like when something's not right. Like the other day, I noticed basically a part of the rear, some of the lines were catching on this lady's uh, top flap, and I was like, oh, she's gonna have like a line twist, like, and it's because like the way she was routing her lines when she was closing her rig, and like she was keeping it by the reserve pack tray versus like bringing down, and it was catching, and I'm like, hey, check this out, and it was just kind of like this cool little frame where it's catching a deployment, but I actually could see how her lines were probably going to cause her some line twists. And add with the analytical aspect of my mind, I just kind of see all these things a lot. So
Wow,
that's kind of neat.
that's that's interesting.
So,
What are
But
there any other safety things that you see on a regular basis? What are the most common things that
oh
you see in pictures or
man,
videos?
um, just how people are sliding against doors. Man, that's a good question. Uh, I'm a huge proponent of like pilot shoots and weak VOCs. So because I'm on top of you a lot with that, I've seen a couple premature deployments being above them. Um,
whew,
let's see. I think.
that went those preemies went past you.
Oh yeah, I've had three now, at least three. So,
Woohoo.
uh,
Like how close?
um, the one, this lady, she caught her pilot chute on the. She's really short, so she was in the sky van and like a floater, and she caught her pilot chute on the chair, I think. And so when she left on the chunk, it extracted right away. And that one, it was further enough away from me, but it was definitely close. There was a big way that we had one, uh, but they actually noticed it, and like he basically had a horseshoe, and they were pointing it out, and they deployed it. I had a shoe just almost reach me. Like it was really cool because you could actually see the shoe like go inside the burble and like just kind of go around me, and I was like, that's kind of neat. So yeah, it happens.
Kind of neat after you're down the ground, not dead.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
my gosh!
you guys have all been in those situations. Like it's like you
Wow.
don't you don't get scared while it's happening.
Right.
Like I think the you'll see my old school pizza and like the this week's Garden of the Drop thing. But like I was like went out with the couch, and the couch started like pivoting towards me. I'm like, oh shit, this is how I'm gonna die. And, like got big and like went around it really quick. But yeah, it's just like those aspects. Like you just like let me get the fuck out of this way.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
So.
Do you have something that stands out in your mind of all the stuff you've filmed? Like, is there one thing that you say this was the craziest thing I've ever seen?
Oh man, I have a horrible memory, and like I'm sure there's like I'm gonna be like, oh my god, that was it. I mean, obviously, like, oh man, some of the myself, like some of the cars, the Nvidia one was pretty cool. I didn't jump out with the Nvidia, but I pushed it out, and I allow, like a lot of these things. I'll set up all the GoPros on them so that like they when they impact they don't crash. Um,
Can you
man,
explain the NVIDIA?
Nvidia was rule. It's called Nvidia ruled the living room, and it was with Jeffro Provenzano, and he was on the couch watching the TV far away, and they had a basic I beam from the center and two I beams over here, and he was basically on the couch playing with a remote control, uh, playing this video games on the TV, and it was such a cool gig.
In free fall.
Um, in free fall, I mean
How'd they
they green screened the video on the screen afterwards, or they replaced it. But yeah, we there was a whole setup when like
how'd you keep it oriented correctly? What was
it
keeping it
was
from
so I mean these guys are kind of really good in the same aspect as the car. They have imagine an eye, okay, and on the top side of the eye is the TV, and that was weighted, and then there's center I beam here, and then another I beam here with a couch where Jeffrey was sitting, and then some basically a fence right there, and then
uh-huh.
some bafflings on the side. So when we pushed it out of it was out of C-130. Pushed out of the C-130, the air would go through it, but like since it was weighted evenly on either side, they added some ballast to the front for Jeffrey's weight. It flew really stack and like
Huh.
just like so. It's called Nvidia Rule the Living Room. I don't know if you guys can link stuff to this, but like that was
Yeah.
awesome.
I
Um,
need to look it up.
you
So
know,
it's just
obviously
for their graphics cards or what?
it was for they had a player like a it was going to be like a gaming system console Android thing. That was pretty cool. Obviously, I don't know, man. Like I, I just like doing like BFRs with my friends and Sunset Load as far as like great jumps. Like those always stick out of my mind. It's like some of the flocks in Moab like stick out of my mind. But like, everything's an adventure. Like I don't my wife Julie finally got me to like log, and so now I'm like actually logging like these kind of things, and so hopefully remember a little bit better what I've done. And so
You said that you really enjoy it. You've been having fun flocking. What do you like about flocking? What do you enjoy in doing that?
I think because I'm not flying a camera,
Yeah.
like I'm actually in it, and I
Yeah.
always love flying my parachute, and it's very tight, very precise, and like how this last one that I did with like Hunter and stuff like that, just like how tight we were on each other, and just to me, it's really neat, and I it's helping me out, kind of like cross training with like filming, some of the bigger wave stuff because I'd like to fly right next to people and get photos of people
Mm.
uh, under canopy when we're doing these big events. But I just found it's hard, it's tedious, and like I just have a lot of fun doing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed the paragliding and the speed flying, and I don't get a chance to do that as much as I want to. But
That's cool.
so
It looks really fun. The flocking videos that I've watched, it looks really really fun.
it's
I want to start
it's
trying to get into it. It looks cool.
it's so cool. It
Yeah.
makes you like mellow under campy, I think. So
Really. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
cool.
Trunk, where does the Constantine project rate for you and like the coolness of the shit that you've done?
okay, so that's a good question. The coolest of it is more about the building of the objects, and like it reminded me of being in high school and everybody just working on cars or out at their friend's house tinkering on stuff, and like that was kind of like the coolest aspect of the whole weekend was everybody that people that you would never imagine with like angle grinders are grinding and welding, and like sparks are flying all night long. We were working like because we had a lot of weather, we were working like nonstop on these objects, and it was unreal. Like I wish we had a little bit better light and weather, but for it being the first time, it was everybody left that and just had like a giant like holy fuck did we just do this, like between like this, like you guys will see like the soda machines, the all the couches, the shit we got away with, man. It was like unreal, you know and it's just the crew was just phenomenal, and obviously the Skydiver Arizona, allowing us and to do this stuff. And I think SSK ended up footing the bill for like the insurance, and so there was a lot of things that helped out with that. And I think the next time going around, I'm hoping that we get some good sponsorship because it is unreal. So,
That's cool.
Are there
I
any
hope you
plans
guys.
for another one?
They are. So I hope you guys have seen all the videos that James Coons has put together because he is special and I love it. He's really has a way with his editing. So
That's cool.
I'm not on social media, so has that stuff been published on social media?
yeah, so he started like I don't remember we did this. I don't even remember when we did this. It's been many months now, but he finally made 9 videos or 8 or 9 videos, and he pushed the first one on I think Monday, the last one yesterday, and then another one tomorrow, and then until they're all out. So definitely check him out. They are unreal. Like he's just like it's awesome. So.
That's cool.
Okay, I want to get back. I just had a question that I wrote down while you were talking about basically getting shit caught on your camera helmet. Have you ever had to chop your helmet? And what is there a cutaway system you like or one that you use?
So I'm like, okay, let's go to this 2-part question. I've had my ring sight catch on my risers, either my risers or my lines on final, like when I was in hook turn. So like kind of the issue I was talking about where you pull your risers down, you look or something catches your eyes. So you look and you catch, your risers or your dive look. So now you're either pulled down or something like that towards the ground, okay, with your head pinned, which is really hard to gauge if your head's sideways while you're trying to land. So, and that's why we mount all of our ring sights with nylon screws, so it's able to pop it off and break it off. And that, like honestly, that's pretty common. That's happened to quite a few people, and I tell people to always, don't have the ring sights going out like this way when they're landing. It always needs to go up or down, type of thing. So that's the entanglements I've had. As far as cutaways, I am a huge proponent of just prevention. By the time you're using cutaway, it's kind of like having a hook knife. Yeah, it's something that you want to have and great when you have it, but you should have figured this shit out way far back. Um, Obviously, some cutaway systems are better than others. I love the G35 and just how you could cut away just the camera if that was, God forbid, to entangle. But even if you cut away, now let's say it's in your reserve, now you have a helmet entangled with your reserve, or if that was the entanglement. So it's kind of like just prevent the shit. Like don't have something out there dangling for everything is the big key. So I think people use it as a oh, I got a cutaway versus thinking about like, are you really going to be able to do that? Did you break your neck when you had the entanglement? If a canopy like hit your neck, it's gonna maybe snap it. So it's just like, or even just you're jettisoning risers. Like if it catches your helmet a certain way, catches it. Prevention. Just make it so it can't stand on anything. So.
Yeah.
David Cherry talked about catching his ring sight on final or turning to final. So that's 2 for 2. I'll ask the next couple of guys as well. But
yeah, I mean, if McGowan's had two totals. I don't think he's had entanglements, but he's had 2 total malfunctions. So it has lived through them. So talk to him about those.
Yeah.
Have you had any cutaways?
I am. I have issues, so I probably have about.
Okay, all right. How many cutaways have you had?
Probably about 14ish. So
14. And how many out of how many skydives?
I only have about 5,500 to 6,000
Okay.
skydives. A lot of them are, like I think with wings and stuff like that, like you do deploy in pretty dirty air, and I think that has a lot to do with it. Some of it was just like how I was storing my excess and being dumb about it. Like, when I open up, I have a sequence of things that I have to like between turn off all my cameras, take off my wings, like thumb things and stuff like that. And like, there was a little bit of times there where I would like get the excess wrapped around my toggle and like create a knot. just none of it's really been gear, like not me maintaining gear. I've had quite a few tension knots that I'm trying to figure out what I was doing to
Mm,
create those, and like just the analytic mind is like trying to figure out like the root cause of it. I had a before I started the boogie tour, and before I had like a lot of friends that like, "Hey, Trunk, you pack like shit. Like this is how you pack better." And like I really focus on So I have very few cutaways nowadays, and most of them are just the lines aren't worn out, but just from the desert and some of that, like I'm a little bit more prone to tension knots than I think
mm,
other people are. So,
mm.
but,
All right.
so yeah, I've had quite a few.
Yeah, 14. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's like some of them like have been just testing stuff out like between like skyhooks and stuff like that. So there's some of
Oh,
that too.
okay.
So
Yeah.
Um, Trunk, just because you said something, uh, how many cameras are you wearing on any normal day?
so I generally wear it depends on so team training I'll just wear two, right? Primary and backup. And then on big waves and stuff like that, I'll wear like a primary one, a backup for that, and then a vertical one for all like the social media stuff nowadays. And then I'll wear my still camera, which is like a very high quality still camera. So that's what 4 cameras. So
Four. That's on special stuff.
yeah, I mean, basically all the big way stuff. I'll do that because you can't miss a shot. And so
So is that's two GoPros? Well, and
three
then you
GoPros.
shoot three GoPros.
Yeah,
The vertical one for social media is a GoPro,
yeah,
and then
or
what
yeah,
you shoot Sony, Nikon, Canon, what?
Sony right now. So
Sony.
I
What do you mean right
played.
now? You use sometimes you use other stuff?
No, I use the Sony camera. I'm playing around with the DJI stuff for the
Oh,
video
okay.
stuff.
Okay.
So I'm not quite sold on it. I think the GoPro has better like quality, image quality, but the
Yeah.
DJI just seems to be a little bit more refined or,
Yeah.
than that. But if you want to know, like I feel like the DJI, at least the Action 6, like the color treatment of it changes like a lot throughout the
Yeah.
day. Like it's really weird. Like it's certain like the morning it'll look like a certain way, afternoon looks like it's just all over the place, and I can't get it
Yes.
set properly.
Yeah.
So
I'm not a big camera guy by any means at all, but the little bit that I've messed around with DJI and versus GoPro, I saw the exact same thing. I was like, the color was just completely inconsistent with DJI.
yeah,
But
I,
the way they put everything together and even their software, like even
mm,
a lot of their stuff is like good, very, very good. If they could figure out I don't know if it's the lenses or the the color coding in the software. I don't know what it is. Something is a little bit off.
mm. I mean, their metering is off. Skydiving is hard. It's difficult too because we're coming from a dark plane a lot of times into like
Mm,
this bright light. So,
mm-hmm.
um, and we're fortunate as skydivers to have a skydiver that's in control of image quality at GoPro, and so that's why our stuff looks so good is because he jumps, and like so that's why the, the skydiving looks so good for us. I think.
Who is that? Do you know his
Uh,
name?
Alex Cashman.
Okay.
So he's out in California, but he works for he now has the image quality for GoPro, and I think that's really why GoPro looks so like probably the best for skydiving.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome. I
I
didn't
do
know
like
that.
the. I mean, like man, I have 38 cameras here right now, like,
Oh
but
my goodness.
there's just like I test a bunch of the stuff, and it's but like it's just, I feel like that's the GoPro is just consistently but a little bit better quality. But
Yeah.
I have the Ace Pro back like somewhere around here. Yeah, this cameras are broken down all over here, so that's taken apart.
What's your favorite camera right now?
For video stuff or for video, I don't know. They're,
Eh,
they're
For
they all
whatever,
have to
just your
use.
favorite camera. I've just
I
tell
f-
you can grab one camera. Come on, you're going with me. Grab one camera. Which one are you getting?
I
And you
mean, I'll
don't know.
probably grab. Sorry, I'll probably just grab my still camera, which is this guy. I mean, obviously these are.
Yeah, that's a
I mean,
Sony. What is that?
this is the Sony A7R4. They have one more
Yeah,
model, but I mean, this is the $3,800 camera versus like a $400 camera. So obviously, this is the
yeah,
one that and this gets you the cover shots versus
yeah.
the,
You can get everything with that.
yeah.
You can take good video with that too, right? Like really good video.
You can. The stabilization is a little bit harder on this stuff.
But I mean, if you're
On
like on a tripod or doing like something like
oh yeah, for
stationary,
sure.
like you get some really good quality stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Trunk, have you invested in a red? Have you ever gotten into a project that you needed to do that?
No, not yet. It's probably something I should do if I want to continue on. Like, I for some reason, and it's just me. I like the stills. I love the stills photos, and I really should branch into more like the higher quality video stuff because that's kind of where the money is nowadays. So, but yeah, maybe the next Guardians of the Drops, I'll do that. So.
Um,
Yeah.
how many? Do you have a count of how many records have been established based on your photo?
Oh man, I don't. I've been on a lot of records, but unfortunately, I don't get. I'm not named to them. So the way the RW records work is the videographer doesn't get recognition on according to FAI. So um, I don't know if and we don't really find out. Like I've been on the TBS one. What I've been on quite a few records now, but yeah. So I don't even know how many, but so I
And
think I
just because, no, go ahead.
good. Yeah, I mean, at least, I mean, I've been at least five world records. I don't know. I'm gonna. I don't want to talk about my ass. So
All right. We had a conversation with David, and I'm going to ask all of you guys because it's a little bit touchy, so don't get touchy. But when recently there was a head down record, and there was a little bit of disagreement among the camera flyers about some of them felt I'm here getting paid to be here, and I'm getting a day rate, and I got my travel, and blah blah blah. So when I take these photos, I'm going to give them to the people who paid me for them. Like I'm not
mhm.
charging any more money. And that, as you might imagine, caused a little bit of a ruckus with the camera crew. But it sparked a couple conversations, and so I guess I'm kind of curious, and there's no judgment for me one way or the other. I'm curious about all of the guys that we're going to talk to who take pictures professionally, and like where do you fall? Like, do you have an opinion there on how that system should work?
Well, I think a lot of it comes from back in the day when videographers were making a lot of money. Like, if you were, let's say you were doing like Rantoul, you would sell, you would make a couple $1,000s, if not more, selling prints and selling photos at the end of the events, and that's kind of how you made your money. You would make boogie like if you let's say you shot a world record, you would make money selling that VHS, and like if you did the head down world record, like even the one in 2010, like Brian Buckland would sell the DVD of the record, like, and so that was part of your compensation package. Um, when you're spending money on like cameras like this, um, it all needs to be put out in the contract. Like I think we should have more contracts on these things. I uh, I feel if I'm only making a couple $100s a day, that maybe that doesn't that I'm not going to give away the photos. Um, Especially since once you give out like the high res digital photos, like you lose,
Yeah,
uh,
that's it.
you lose like the ability to have it, and like the next thing you'll see them is on a billboard. So I feel like people are just going to print out like the small thing from Facebook anyway nowadays. So basically, like, I think it just yeah, I'm
Well, that
slowly yeah.
that that's interesting. I mean, what you're bringing up, there's more to it than maybe I would have first thought. Like because when you brought up the old school like guys selling prints, that's a interesting insight. Like I had not thought of that. And so
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, that did make sense at that time that they had the equipment to make prints and to get it. And so people couldn't share digital photos, so you would buy prints. That makes sense.
Yeah, and
It's kind of
so
like
like
now that's not how we do it. So how can we make sure that we're still taking care of our videographers and photographers so they're not just being taken advantage of, but we're not buying prints like we used to. So that doesn't seem to work either, but we should figure out something to take care of you guys, you know? Like, That's kind of what it makes me think.
Yeah, I think that's the mindset. Like, all the old timers are like, "Wow, man, I'm not gonna give you the way because this is how I used to make my finances."
Hmm.
So it's a touchy subject. I used to be a little bit more adamant about it, a little bit more irked about it. Now I'm just like, I don't have the bandwidth of it anymore. Like it makes me, it was making me irritated and irritable, and like, you know, now I'm starting to just sell the digital prints, the digital copies, and just going about it that way. Um, so
Do you think that there's like when you brought up the expense of that one camera, and that does kind of make sense to me that okay, your day rate is for the work, but then there's all this background stuff that I'm sure you have more than $3,800 invested in the background of
oh yeah, I mean that's
all
not
of your
completely
stuff.
the lens. Yeah, so
Yeah. um, and if there's a fair balance point of like okay, we got the record, say we got 171 way, and if you want one of these digital copies, I'll give it to you for $50 or $40
mhm.
or so, like, and just have it be sort of a hey, this is how I make my living, I'm selling it
Mhm.
to you, don't
Yeah.
give it away. And obviously there's no way to hold anybody to that because it's so easy to put
Mhm.
digital stuff, but at the same time, uh I think that might be a way that it could work well for like I bought a Buckland print, I want to say $200 of
Yeah.
the 69 way. It was the first one I was on. um and I think that's a little bit excessive, but I, if he sells one to everybody, how much money is that?
Yeah.
$12,000 or something. But
I mean, the prints themselves are pretty expensive too. So that's why if you just sell the digital, and that's what Elliot Bird and I have been doing lately, is just selling like the digital copies of it, like, and it's some money, but you don't feel like taken advantage of either. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's kind of the issue is that
what what if like a boogie organizer? I mean, not sorry, not a boogie, an event organizer. And I'm really am asking because I've never been to a record event, so I don't know how both sides, how anybody would agree think about this. But what if they just said, look, as a part of your registration fee to be a part of this record event, we're going to add on $20, and everybody's going to pay $20 extra, and all of that $20 is going to the photographer or videographer. And so that's times however many people. That'd be a decent chunk of change, wouldn't it?
yeah, I mean,
um
Would that be a good way to do it or
so
not?
on the head down record, that's 171 people, 100, so let's easily say 200,
Yeah,
just
just say
200.
200.
And so that's $4,000. And then I think there were four camera flyers on that. Were you there? Was that something you did, Sean?
I was with you guys, but
Yep.
yeah, I mean, there was Jason Peters, at least
Seth,
four, if not
Nate,
five.
yeah,
Ewan,
uh, Ewan, yeah, and I think Gustavo and Norm might have been there, but it wasn't official. Anyway, $1,000 ish a person
Yeah,
on
it's
top
not.
on top of what they made. I mean, it's not ending. It's not setting the world on fire, but it might be a fair
mm,
solution to kind of those issues as they came up, where kind of like any negotiation, not everybody's not fully happy, but
Yeah,
it
it works.
it kind of it might work. That
Yeah.
might be a reasonable solution because judging from the head down record, there's probably going to be a couple more discussions about this,
yeah.
and just coming up from the organizer side, coming up with a reasonable solution is interesting.
Yeah.
I think it just all needs to be documented in what everybody's. I think the problem is people get hurt when they expect something, they get something else, and
Yeah.
it's
No,
like
that
that stuff
that
needs to be put out front.
yeah,
Um,
you're exactly right.
I think the good thing is on the belly side of things, most of us all work the same now. So we between like I work the All American Big Ways and the airspeed camps, and I have connections with the P3 guys. I think all of us kind of do like the same kind of thing now as far as what we provide the customers and what we the participants, sorry, not customers, you know what I mean, and what they expect. So
Yeah.
Cool. Um, one thing I wrote down is that you're married to a skydiver.
Mhm.
And what do you want? You want to tell us anything about your wifey other than she knows that your tongue works well?
I forget this on video, right? No, no, my wife is awesome. She's so much cooler than me. Most of the people know Julie Kirschenbaum or Kleinwort. She's just keeps me happy. She's phenomenal. She's a fantastic skydiver. She's like a little ninja, just comes in, pops wherever you want to put her at. Like, and she's so bright and colorful, and she's made me into such a better man. And there's not much to say. Uh, there's so much to say other than that. So
The last time I saw her was not very long ago, probably in Eloy, and I looked at her and I thought, is she still Julie Kleinwort or is she Julie Kirschbaum? And I ended up laughing and saying hi to her, and I was like, hey, this is what I just thought. And she had some hybrid of your two names that she thought was like
yeah.
do you remember what that is? Do you know what that is?
Well, it was like Kleinenbaum or Kirschenwort, like. But then we were gonna screw with people, so they would have to like put a hyphen between our two very long last names, so that people had to like write it all out. So Kirschen Kleinenbaum or Kleinwort. So
Okay, we're coming up on an hour. What's coming up for Trunk? What's the next 6 months or year look like for you? What are you working towards?
oh man, I got some cool projects going on. I got the Bluetooth Pro and the Bluetooth Light, like the indicator lights that I make. They're about to work with like all the cameras, so like Insta360 Ace or Insta360 DJI GoPros, like even the Sony cameras that don't have the ports. So I've been like working hard in the lab because I know in the summertime I can't really design stuff. So that's almost done. I got some stuff for some of the Sony cameras coming out. I just got all these cool designs that I'm working on and that I'm really stoked about. Hopefully, 8-way is going to happen again. I'm doing a bunch of so like I do an 8-way team with Craig Girard and my wife and a bunch of other usual suspects. So I'm hoping that happens. And like we haven't quite scheduled everything yet. Doing some military stuff. I'm doing all American big way camps and airspeed camps, big way stuff. So just gonna be jumping my ass off this summer, and I'm really stoked about that. Especially with some of my new flocking skills and like just getting some tighter canopy potting stuff. So I'm
Okay,
just stoked, man.
I meant to ask you about the flocking. Like, how do you feel about flocking with people or trying to get close to people under canopy in a big way? Is that going to work?
I do it, but I try to like only do it like when I'm basically if I'm opening first, like very high altitude, and somebody's really slow, I'll kind of come in there, and I'm trying to come up with a better method of making it known that I'm either there or getting away from them before they even know I was there, um, because it's yeah, I don't want to be dangerous and I don't want to cause anybody trouble, but I do like to uh, get some shots, of people if I can. So I try not to be dangerous. So like sometimes like even like me and Willie, like if we're doing like big wig camp or Alex and I, like the videographers, we'll like get in tight to each other. But I try to make sure that I'm not going to push somebody into somebody else. I try to do it like a very very cautious way. So, but
Okay, and my last question. Most of our viewers are young jumpers,
okay.
a few hundred jumps. Not, I mean, I know some of the military guys that listen to this have more jumps than that, but what advice would you give to young aspiring camera flyers to keep them safe and point them in the right direction?
um, I think it's twofold. Ask for help, but the big thing is one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Learn how to fly before you add a camera. Learn how to like fly one camera before you add a ringside. Like everything you try to add in the sport tries to kill you. So every little thing is like another straw that tries to kill you, especially with camera flying. There's just so much. Like if you go look at my housekeeping once I open up, there's just so many things I had to do, and it's all just little straws that are trying to kill me. So my word of advice, and even my like my mindset, my procedure right before I exit the plane. Like there's just my laundry list is so ginormous. So the way you deal with that is just add one thing at a time. Don't add them all.
Hmm.
And also, I'm going to add this because I feel like it's very important. Is get very good at your visualization, including turning on cameras and like how you even think about opening up the door and when you're going to do things, and like not even the jump, but the aspect of the order, your sequence of like checking your gear, when you're going to turn cameras on, how you're going to turn it on, like how you're going to check if you have wings, like your gear check for all that stuff is
Hmm.
important to visualize before you even get out of the plane. Because as a camera flyer, a lot of times you're at the front of the plane, so you have other duties like putting the bench up, opening the door, looking at the green lights, checking the spot, like all this stuff is just straws that break the camel's back. So having that procedure and the process that's going to keep you safe. And for me, like I check my gear before I do any of the camera work. That's all very important. So that one thing at a time, getting a good flow and process is very important. So,
Hmm. I like
Cool.
that's good.
Yeah.
Including that other
Totally.
stuff in your visualization. That's really good. That's awesome.
it
Man, I'm
helps
so
out your
glad.
anxiety.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it helps you, and especially if you get in the habit of doing the same visualization every single time, it is going to calm you down eventually.
Yeah.
After a while, that's part of your rhythm and your routine, and it'll calm you down. That's good. That's really good. I like that.
Cool.
Man,
Chris,
Trunk
you
is
got
really
anything?
nice. No, that's
Yeah,
awesome. It's really nice to meet you,
perfect.
man. It's
Very
really
good.
fun. Really cool.
Yeah, let's talk some more. I got some stuff that I could probably link to you guys as far as like camera safety stuff that might not be a
Yeah,
bad idea for you guys
That'd be
to
awesome.
add to this thing.
yeah,
And that way people are, know where I'm at. And so if you want to talk again, I'm all about it. If we could always focus on other things. So,
awesome.
uh,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, that would be great. Anything that you can share with us, we would love it. We'll put it
all
out
right,
there.
sounds good. Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you guys.
All right, Chris. We didn't really have an intro, but it was your week, so now you get to say
Mine.
your
I thought it was
favorite.
you. It's
No,
me.
no, I did last week. Yeah, it's you.
Okay, well, you've done it again. You've wasted another perfectly good hour listening to the Crave Show this week with Chris, JRuss, and Trunk. Hey, thanks so much for joining us, Trunk. It's really nice to meet you. Really awesome, man.
Otherwise,
Um, do you have a website for all of your gear and all your stuff, all your
yeah,
products? What
yeah.
is your website?
Sorry, I didn't even say that. Get Hypoxic. Hypoxic is my company. So get
Get uh,
hypoxic.com
okay,
is me.
gethypoxic.com.
Yeah.
HYPOXIC. Get hypoxic. Hypoxic, that was the name of the one for the GoPro, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. GoPro, Sony, everything. So
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, you guys, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. Get out there and jump out of an airplane. Have fun with your friends. Crave. Do more. Be better. Bye, you guys.
bye.
Thanks, everybody.